Hey, we're going to look at the E pentatonic minor scale in this video. It's penta because it's 5 notes, it's tonic because it's got 5 tones or notes, and it's a scale because it paints a certain musical sound, a vibe, a feeling, and we can ascend it. And we can descend it. Okay, now I played it down in what we call the open position. It's a 5-note scale comprising of an E, G, A, B, D. That's 5 notes, isn't it? E, G, A, B, D. But we can keep playing up that sequence. E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G. We can take it all the way up the neck and play it in different shapes across the neck. Okay, now today we're just going to concentrate on what we call position 1 of E pentatonic minor, and we're going to play it with a 0 on the low E string and then a 3 on the low E string and then a 0 on the A string and a 2 on the A string. So that was 0, 3, 0, 2, and then on the D, 0, 2. That is 1 octave of that scale because we've played E, G, A, B, D, E. I'd really cement that before we move on to the second octave, which we'll come to in a moment. So, again slowly, on the low E string, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 2. I'm using my second finger for those 3rd fret notes, and my first finger for the 2nd fret notes. You might also want to practice without your first finger, using the 2nd finger for the 2nd fret notes and the 3rd finger for the 3rd fret note. Let's try it like that now. O, 3, O, 2, O, 2. Or the other way. Then we carry on. O, 2 on the G string, O, 3 on the B string, 0 on the top string. Because that's our E, we've hit the 2nd octave. 2nd 2 octave higher than we started there. E, E, E. Okay, you might have noticed sometimes when I played it already, I've added on that 3 there. And that's okay, it's allowed because it's a G. And G's the 2nd note in the scale. We'll be playing a bit. Okay, let's just investigate the treble string notes a bit more. So I'll play up to that point. O, 3, O, 2, O, 2. So from the 2 on the D string, the next note is a 0 on the G, 2 on the G, 0 on the B, 3 on the B, 0 on the high E, and that 3 on the high E if we want to add that extra G in. Okay, so again, from the 2nd fret of the D, 2 on the D, 0 on the G, 2 on the G, 0 on the B, 3 on the B, 0 on the E. And if we want, that one. But the 0 on the E is a kind of tonal center we're aiming for. Okay, the whole thing across 2 octaves sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... all the way up 2 octaves there. Then we can come back, descend the scale from the 0 on the high E. 1, 2, play now. Okay, learning that scale for the sake of learning that scale isn't the most impressive musical endeavour you could undertake. You'll show your friends or your family and they won't be particularly impressed however quickly you can play up and down that. They're not going to be blown away unless you start to be musical with it, to make cool sounds basically. So, when could you use this scale? The E pentatonic minor scale is a staple for acoustic and electric guitars. It's really useful for blues players, rock players, bluegrass players, country players, indie players. It's handy if you're a funk guitarist. Don't forget, we said we could play E, G, A, B, D, E all over the neck in lots of different positions. That's a video for another day, but I just wanted to give you a little example of how you might get a little bit further into this scale. If you want to kind of leave the video for today and come back to it at a later day once you're feeling a bit more comfortable with just navigating up and down that scale, That's cool, yeah? But if you want to hang around and hear a few more tips about how you might be musical in it, stay with me. Okay, so when might we use an E pentatonic minor scale? In so many instances, it's going to be your best friend. It depends on the key that you're in, but let's assume we're in a key with an E minor kind of tonality, there's the home chord, or a G major. They're the first two instances that I would think of going to use an E pentatonic minor scale to come up with a solo idea or a lead guitar idea or some tasty fills. And I think the best way I can demonstrate this to start with is to just do a quick loop. I'll use chords that I think most of you will probably know. E minor, G, C, and an A minor maybe. Let's give that a go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That loop's just going to drift round and round. First thing I'm going to do is just play the scale over the top of it, nice and slowly, with a crotchet feel, quarter note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All the notes fit, don't they? They sound good. Let me just turn that loop off for 1 minute. Okay, so in an E minor, the notes we've got in there are an E, B, and a G, or E, G, and B if we put them in the order of the triad. The scale, don't forget, contains E, G, A, B, and a D. So straight away we can see that the notes hanging out in this scale are gonna really sound good over that chord, because the three notes in an E minor, E, B, E, G, B, E, if we play through the notes of that voicing, all three of them exist in that scale. Happy days. And then I went to a G. Now we've got a G. Well, that was in the scale E, G, A, B is the next note in our G major chord at the second fret of the A string. It's in the scale. And the next note, D, if we think of our G major shape, we've got a D in there. So we've just found another chord that we can use that E minor pentatonic structure over. Then I went to an A minor. I could have chucked a C here, but I decided to use an A minor. In an A minor I've got an A. Well, we know that's in the scale. We've got an E. Well, obviously that's in the scale. It's an E pentatonic minor. And then when we play the A minor, we've got that C natural. Now that isn't in the E pentatonic minor scale. That's okay, because if I play the note underneath it, the B, if I play that B note whilst the backing's playing an A minor, there's a little bit of tension. It kind of makes it a sus2 chord. So that's not the end of the world. And we like tension in music, as long usually we get some release at some point. And then I went to a D. Now a D's got a D in it. We know that's in our scale. It's got an A in it, sorry. There's our A that's sat at the second fret of the G string. The D again, and then an F sharp. F sharp wasn't in the scale, but that doesn't mean we couldn't alter ever so slightly the E pentatonic minor scale when we come to that point. Okay, I'm going to hit play on my loop. I'm just going to turn the volume down on the loop pedal a little bit, and then I'm just going to use the scale in a few different kind of simple ways to try and be expressive and maybe show you some ideas to get you started. Okay, so almost exclusively I just played notes from our E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E. I added a couple of slides in and bends, but I was really being faithful to this position down there. I hope you noticed I didn't try to make things too complicated even. I wasn't flying up and down the scale as quickly as I could just for the sake of it. I was trying to be melodic. I was trying to make the rhythms interesting. So even if I think at one point I just played that D note you get at the 3rd fret of the B string, with a rhythm that's a little bit more interesting, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I would suggest, once you feel like you've got that scale under your fingers, find a backing track. I love using backing tracks by a guy called Quist, a amazing guitarist based in LA now. Used to play for Brian Ferry. Type in E minor backing track into YouTube and there'll be dozens and dozens and dozens of backings where you can practice using that shape, yeah? Okay, some people just want to sit and get so competent at playing up and down the scale before they start trying to be musical with it. My encouragement would be, if you can navigate that scale at a relatively moderate tempo, just start to try and make music with it. Be creative. Go a bit wrong. Play a note that isn't in the scale by accident. That one doesn't belong in there. So, you sense that. Maybe you avoid it. Maybe you like the influence that has on the sound. That one doesn't sound great. You might leave that one out. That one didn't sound too bad. That actually makes it a blues scale, but we'll come to that in a different video. So, be creative. Use a backing track in the key of E minor. Comment if you want me to suggest some, or maybe upload some. Use that scale in that position and keep an eye out. I'll post a little way of navigating yourself to that scale in a different area of the neck so you can kind of take some information you already know and move it further up the fretboard. Okay,